Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Joining us on the line now is Debbie Frank. She's a world-renowned master astrologer with decades of experience in sharing, teaching and providing life healing to her personal clients, celebrities and CEOs. Her most well-known client was the late Princess Diana, with whom she remained friends with up until her death. Her new book, Manifest with Astrology, reveals how each zodiac sign and celestial body holds powerful codes designed to support your life's journey. Welcome to the show, Debbie.
Oh, well, it's lovely to be on. I have been on Talk Radio Europe a couple of times before.
Yes.
So it's thrilled to be back. I've been telling my friends in Spain to listen.
Oh, that's great. It's lovely to have you back with us. So how did you come up with kind of putting together manifesting and astrology, or do you feel like they've always interlinked in some way?
Well, as I began to think about it, being an astrologer dealing with these invisible energies from the planets, I realized with manifesting that it's using the same invisible frequencies, really. I mean, manifesting is all about trying to, make something happen through your intentions and making that invisible intention real. In other words, I want a parking space. Let's just give an example. Please, parking angel, can I manifest a parking space? And from your intention, a parking space does appear. I can verify that. It has happened for me and for many other people I know. But obviously there are all sorts of things that we do want to manifest. And as I began to put these things together, and I have been working with thousands of clients over the last few decades, we are all really manifesting our birth charts, our astrology charts. It's a map of who we are. So we're kind of manifesting ourselves all the time. I mean, we are all manifestors, even if we don't do it consciously, even if we don't realize. We manifest everything. Whatever we're thinking about starts manifesting. So this is all about how to make the best of that. And I have started the book with a big section on manifesting through your own sun sign, because I thought that's the best place to start, because everybody knows their sun sign and can connect to that quite easily. So we all have superpowers. So I've given a lot of tips and techniques on how to supercharge your superpowers. Because I think, if we're good at something, sometimes we imagine that, everyone can do this. But it's about actually recognizing, no, this is a skill set. This is a talent that I have. And by the same token, we all have our sticking points and we get blocked. And, this is where manifesting, or our belief in manifesting, can come unstuck, because we put our intentions out and we think it's like ordering from Amazon Prime, don't we? Mm-hmm. And that, we put our order in and why hasn't it been delivered? And the thing is, all of us have these challenges, these sticking points, or these resistances, if you want to call it that. And again, it's about working with that. It's about identifying, what is the resistance? Am I actually afraid of this thing happening deep down inside? Like we might say, I really want to meet my soulmate. I want to have a relationship. And I know this from working with my clients, a lot of people have got a fear of actually getting involved with somebody. So, it can be anything from wanting to have a baby. That can be the same thing. And often I'm working with people with sort of unexplained infertility. And it often can be explained in the birth chart, what the psychological factors are in play. And so it's about really clearing everything. So I help people to sort of get in touch with, those superpowers that will help them overcome the blocks and the challenges to having what they want.
That's really interesting.
I'm
sure everybody knows somebody or has met someone that seems to be really lucky, or seems to be as if they're maybe better at manifesting than other people might be, and seem to attract good luck all the time. Is that a thing?
Annoying, isn't it?
Yes.
No, I'm joking. We can all do this. We can all do this because it's really just stemming from positive energy.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are those people that just literally walk around with a smile on their face. They have a sort of large aura. And in astrology, it's Jupiter, the planet of abundance. And when Jupiter is strongly placed in the chart, or we're having our Jupiter year, which every sign does have, once every 12 years we get our Jupiter year. At the moment, it's Cancer, and in the summer, Jupiter will move into Leo for the next 12 months. And when Jupiter's around, it just helps us feel more confident, and we can receive and see those opportunities and actually move into them. So I think it's all about our perception, and we often just aren't really confident enough to take advantage of an opportunity to sort of, or to reach out. So I think this luck is all about making our own luck. And there's a lot to be said also for being very appreciative of what we already have in our lives, which we all often just take a lot of things for granted. But counting your blessings really does work in terms of manifesting.
Yeah.
And, you know, being aware of, you know, what we already have that has blessed us already, whether it's, you know, our pets, whether it's friendship, whether it's our health, whether it's, you know, enjoying a sunny day or a cup of coffee, whatever it is, small things, you know, having that kind of attitude is what creates your own luck, because it sort of predisposes you to picking up on everything that's positive. And then we start radiating out positive energy, and then other people respond.
Yeah, I'm sure on the, I have to mention the opposite side of things. Everyone can relate to knowing someone who is quite literally the opposite and seems to attract bad luck and it, in a way manifests bad luck, you know, says, oh, this will probably happen to me and I'll probably have bad things that, you know, are really, really super negative, as if they're wanting bad things to happen so they can go, see, told you.
I know. Well, there's a lot to be said for never retelling our stories of all the things that have gone wrong, because we all have something that's gone wrong in our lives. And in fact, a lot of my work is about reframing the things that have gone wrong as being gifts, because we don't really learn often. When things go right, we just go, great, now on to the next thing. When things go wrong and we have to struggle a bit, you know, if we can look on that as a teaching opportunity, really, that, you know, what can we think about this? What did we gain from it, really, the struggle? So it's all about our perception, and we always have choices as to how we think. So yes, dwelling on things that are negative just perpetuates the cycle, and I talk a lot about that in my book, how important it is to step away from that, you know, stuck thinking, really, or the inner critic that says, oh, you'll never do that. You know, we've all got a bit of an inner critic, and it's about telling him to pipe down, really. Press the delete button.
Yeah. And you mentioned a little bit about relationships before. What about money and wealth? I mean, I suppose that's a really common thing that people are, a lot of people are always wanting to attract. Any tips in that department?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think a lot of financial issues and the whole idea of wealth. I mean, when I'm working with people, I often say to them, you know, what does success really look like for you? What do you think money can buy you? And, you know, often they will list out a few things that they'd like, you know, this shiny new car, this bigger house or whatever. But it's really all about imagining how you would operate in the world. You know, how would you wake up if you had that thing? How would you walk into a room if you had that thing already? And I take people into that place where they can imagine, oh, I've already got that thing. And suddenly this beaming smile comes on their face. And I say, look, you know, you actually feel as if you've already got that thing. So do you really need the thing in order to feel this incredible surge of happiness and well-being? And it's sort of separating it out so that we're not kind of hungry for the money. We're hungry really just to feel happier. And that's really what it is. It's about working with what the real need is. And often it's not just that material thing. It's about feeling happier in ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, they say money can't buy happiness. And I'm sure, again, we can relate to that, knowing people or hearing of wealthy people on television, celebrities or whatever. And you automatically assume that just because they've got a lot of money, they're going to be happy and have the best family and relationships. And I think most people will know by now that that's absolutely not the case.
Yeah. No, sadly, absolutely not. It really is an inside job, all of this happiness. And I work with, a wide spectrum of people, but I do have a lot of high net worth individual clients. And it can create its own anxieties, believe me.
Yeah. And again, people in all walks of life, whatever their background, whatever their financial status, can all have the same worries and anxieties and relationship issues or issues with their family, that all those things don't go away just because you have money.
No, they really don't. So, it's all about just getting hold of our individual lives, our own life journey, which astrology is so valuable for this. It's a map of our journey in our life and what we're here to learn. And it's really about meaning. And a life without meaning is a very poor life. So that's something I always ask my clients, what is really meaningful to you? So it really makes them think. And then that really helps that sort of sense of appreciation to flow. Yeah. And it helps us make wiser choices.
Yeah. And going back to relationships, I suppose one of the things to do with manifesting relationships, I think you kind of touched on it earlier, the idea of feeling your self-worth, knowing that you deserve to have a good partner and that kind of thing. And it's an interesting thing that a lot of people maybe don't think about, just think, well, I've got what I've got, or I'm fine on my own, or whatever, which is fine. But, it's understanding and appreciating your worth and knowing that you deserve to be in a healthy, happy relationship.
Absolutely. And, I think to your point, there's a lot of little techniques we can do. There's that tall poppy syndrome, where we're afraid to stand out from the crowd and sort of show off a little bit. We have that in our British culture. That, the tall poppy is, if I do stand out from the crowd and I attract attention, then someone's going to take me down. There's a fear around it. So I work a lot with sort of helping people to feel a lot more confident about themselves and deserving, and to try and, trace the history back to, who planted this original idea in their minds that they were undeserving in any way, shape or form, and then working with that to transform it. So astrology isn't really just information, it's transformation. That's why it's such an amazing tool, and it really is fantastic to put it together with manifesting, because it immediately gives you something to work towards, and all of the hows, whys and wherefores, you can see on the map, okay, this is what's coming up for me this year, this is how I could work with it, this is my issue in life, I need to really try and overcome that challenge, and these are my superpowers, and I need to shine that light out into the world. Yeah.
And with regards to astrology, looking at the 12 sun signs particularly, I know that the importance of getting a full astrological chart to really get the understanding and backgrounds of things. But when you're writing a book like this, a lot of things are just divided into the 12 star signs. How is it possible to summarize people's experiences or what they're likely to attract or not just through the 12 signs?
Well, I start off with the 12 signs, the sun signs, as I mentioned, because I just think everybody can relate to that. Yeah. But then I go deeper. So I think now it's so easy to input, your time, your date, your place of birth into a search engine, and up pops your birth chart. It's never been easier to get that. So we can all access that. And then in this book, I give simple sort of instructions, details of, how to look a little deeper at the angles in your chart, to look at those periods when perhaps Mercury is retrograde and how we can turn that around to our advantage. So the book has got in itself sort of layers. So, I mean, astrology can be very overwhelming because it's either very simplistic in terms of the sun sign, or it just goes into so much that people feel overwhelmed and they get lost in it. So what I've done is I've broken it down. It's step by step. I'm there with you, holding your hand, saying, look, this is what this means. This is how I can help you with it, or you can help yourself through doing this technique. And, I'm trying to be sort of practical with my clients because, the idea is to share this knowledge and to make it available for people so that they can really use it like an astrologer would.
Yeah. And I know you've been doing this for over 20 years now, which is amazing. Are there always things that you can and are learning with regards to astrology, or is it the kind of thing that, has been going for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and it's just a case of learning all of the back catalogue, if you like?
Well, that's the thing I love the most about astrology. It really is my passion. And one of the greatest things about it is you can never say, I've learned it, tick. There's always something new to learn. And I'm still learning, although I'm also teaching. And every client I work with also helps me to learn because I look at them and I look at their charts and I see how that is brought to life in their life stories. So every single person is an embodiment of their birth chart, and that brings the astrology to life. So it's a learning for both of us, really. So it's a wonderful, wonderful subject. I mean, yes, it is thousands of years old. And of course, when it was first used, we didn't really have very powerful telescopes. So we couldn't see any of the planets beyond Saturn. And they started to be sourced much more recently. And, there's this feeling that we're discovering things all the time, and we're discovering how it works all the time because now we have the quantum end of science. It's actually been extremely helpful after all these years when science and astrology were separated at one time during the Renaissance. Astrology was an academic subject that was taught in universities alongside medicine and all the sciences. But since it got separated and it was the Industrial Revolution, and then now here we are with quantum science, which has identified this idea of waves, frequencies, and resonance. And it's going a long way to explain how astrology actually works, that we're all in this quantum field and we're all impacted by these frequencies all the time. I mean, of course, we know that the moon rules the tides and that, we have such a high percentage of water in our bodies. We're very affected by the moon. And even surgeons will say that, if they do surgery at full moon, there's more hemorrhaging because the liquid is up, it's rising at full moon. So, on an everyday level, it's a study of the natural universe, the natural world, really, and how we're all part of this big cosmic soup.
Gosh, it's fascinating, isn't it? Well, if people want to get a copy of Manifest with Astrology, it's available on our website, tre.radio, and it's by Debbie Frank, who we've been chatting with. Debbie, thanks so much for joining us again.
Oh, it's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Angie, bye-bye.